morning, America. It's Friday.
It's time for Mornings at 8 with Jonathan Mark on AM 1480 WLEA.
Oh, Paul Harvey, right as usual. It is Friday. Finally Friday. Yippee, the end of the week. And here we are. We're coming up on 6 minutes after 8 o'clock on a Friday morning. Well, there's Mercedes-Benz. I've said in the past, Mercedes-Benz is a great car. But they really need a new slant on their advertising. I mean, have you heard it? It plays a lot. And it's about as snobby as the other one was a couple of months ago. It's either snobby or it isn't. It's either incredibly annoying or it isn't. It's either arrogant or it isn't. Yeah, change the slant, change the approach. Mercedes-Benz is a great car, but just on the basis of their stupid advertising, I would never buy a Mercedes just based on the advertising, even though it's a nice car. Okay, let me see here. Boop, boop, booty, boop. The Bishop of Johnson Funeral Home and Bill Bishop were acknowledged yesterday for 40 years of service in the city of Fornell. And that is a very good thing. 40 years of service should be acknowledged. So I thought that was really, really good. Let me see what's going on here. There's, some days you just go, I mean, where do you start? How about this? As you are aware, there's the closed-door Star Chamber impeachment inquiry going on in Washington. Behind closed doors, you don't really know who's accusing you or what they were accusing you of exactly, but the president is accused of this, that, and the other, except nobody will really say, and nobody will really say who is really accusing him. So that sounds, I don't know, to me, it sounds like either Soviet Russia or communist China. You don't know who's accusing you of what, but there you are, and you stand accused. And earlier this week, a bunch of Republicans tried to crash the party. Okay, now Republicans are in there. There are Republicans in the room, but there is a gag order, and they can't say anything. So I don't know exactly how that works, but Congressman Tom Reed, by the way, was not one of the party crashers.
Obviously, I appreciate what my colleagues were doing in regards to their commitment to trying to put sunlight on this hidden process that impeachment has become by Adam Schiff as the chairman of the committee going through impeachment. I think fundamental fairness requires, and I would hope the media would agree that the media's role is all about sunshine, about open meetings, about open government, and I would hope the media would join with us to say, we should have this conducted in an open fashion. But obviously I did not partake in that. I'm going to use my role and my pulpit just to continue to put public pressure and use the media hopefully to join with me and with their longstanding commitment to open government. Hopefully they will criticize and join us in making sure that this impeachment process is open to the public.
Oh yeah, well that'd be novel. I think that'd really be novel. Okay, well that's going on there, and party crashers, unbelievable. If there's a theme this morning, it's really hard to find a thing, but there seems to be one, I think, and the theme is the downhill road is getting steeper and steeper, right? Yesterday I had a story. There's a proposal in Massachusetts that would jail people for using the word, well, I can't really say it on the air, but it begins with B and rhymes with itch. And it would be a crime in Massachusetts. So you could not use the word. Let me see, it would be 6 months in jail or fine of up to $200, right? So anyone who used that word directed at another person to accost, annoy, degrade, or demean the other person shall be considered to be a disorderly person and will be guilty of a criminal offense. Right. Up to 6 months in jail and a $200 fine. And the offense could be reported not only by the person being called that word, but also a third-party witness. Now, that's what I had yesterday. And you think, well, that's crazy. I mean, that's really crazy. That's only the beginning. Here, where did I find this? The Morning Beacon newsletter. And according to a recent poll, a majority of Americans want First Amendment rewritten. A majority of Americans. And more than half of millennials want fines or jail time for hate speech. This is free speech we're talking about here. But a majority of Americans want First Amendment rewritten. A majority of Americans believe the First Amendment should be rewritten and are willing to crack down on free speech as well as the press, according to a new poll. More than 6 in 10, more than 6 in 10 of Americans agree on restricting speech in some way, while a slim majority, just a little over half, want to see the First Amendment rewritten to reflect the cultural norms. The Campaign for Free Speech, which conducted the survey, said the results, quote, indicate free speech is under more threat than previously believed. Oh, yeah, I guess so. Now, who is this? Bob Lysted. He's the executive director of the group. The findings are frankly extraordinary. Our free speech rights and our free press rights have evolved well over 200 years, and people now seem to be rethinking them. Of the 1,004 respondents, young people were the most likely to support curbing free expression and punishing those who engage in hate speech. Nearly 6 in 10 millennials, respondents between the ages of 21 and 38, agreed that the Constitution, quote, goes too far in allowing hate speech in modern America and should be rewritten. Whoa! A majority of those millennials also supported laws that would make hate speech a crime. And of those supporters, 54% said violators should face jail time. Okay, that sounds really good. Boy howdy, American hostility to the First Amendment did not stop at speech. Many would also like to see a crackdown on the free press. Nearly 6 in 10 of respondents agreed that the government should be able to take action against newspapers and TV stations that publish content that is biased, inflammatory, or false. And of those responders, a little less than half supported possible jail time. Jail time? Yeah. Lysted launched the Campaign for Free Speech to advocate for preserving free and open dialogue in America. The group emphasizes that hate speech should be denounced, but does not think censorship is the answer. Oh, yeah, okay. The group plans to push back against efforts to restrict speech at the local, state, and federal levels. So, what? Majority of Americans want the First Amendment rewritten, and more than half of millennials want fines or jail time for hate speech. As I said, this road is getting steeper and steeper. I mean, it really is, and this is really getting frightening, because the generation that's coming up, in no time flat, will be the ones in charge. And boy, it's going right down the tubes. Man, it is just going right down the tubes. Speaking of going down the tubes, that's way beyond the pale. Okay, I got the two of these from Breitbart, and they're very much related, and you'll see why in a second. Bald State lecturer using proper grammar is racist. So using proper grammar is racist. Let's see how this guy comes to this conclusion. A guest lecturer at Ball State University recently made the case that using proper grammar is a symptom of America's white supremacist culture. According to a report by the College Fix, Arizona State University Associate Dean and Professor Asao Inoue made the case that using proper grammar is racist during a recent speech at Ball State University. Inoue argued that all Americans are responsible for our culture of white supremacy. He argued that white supremacists use English language standards to oppress those with poor lingual skill. I think it's linguistic, but I'm going to say that's what it reads here, poor lingual skills. He said, we are all implicated in white supremacy. This is because white supremacist systems, like all systems, reproduce themselves as a matter of course. And this includes reproduction of dominant, white, middle-class, monolingual standards for literacy and communication. The condition in classrooms, schools, and society where rewards are given in determined ways to people who can most easily reach them, because those people have more access to the preferred and embodied white language practices. And part of that access is a structural assumption that what is reachable at any given moment, for the normative white monolingual English user is reachable for all. So, in one slide at this presentation, Inouye argued that grading students based on their performance is an extension of America's racism. He said, grading is a great way to protect the white property of literacy in schools and maintain the white supremacist status quo without ever being white supremacist or mentioning race. Now this guy teaches. So using proper grammar is racist. Okay. We go from one lunacy, we jump right over to yet another one. Yale, pretty upscale school. Yale hosts podcaster that argues American food is racist. On Wednesday evening, Yale University hosted Solil Ho, and she's a podcaster that argues that American food culture is racist. According to a report by Campus Reform, Yale University hosted podcaster Solil Ho on Wednesday evening. She's the host of a podcast called Racist Sandwich, on which she makes the case that various aspects of America's food culture is racist. I wonder if she was using proper grammar when she said that. I don't know. That's racist right there. Okay, the podcast episodes often feature quirky titles such as Sheet Pan Chicken with a Side of Social Justice. In one episode, featured the author of a cookbook entitled Feed the Resistance. During the episode, the pair suggested that Thanksgiving was a symbol of America's oppression of Native Americans. Ho was hosted at Yale Wednesday night by several progressive organizations, including, well, a whole bunch of them. She said, let me see. Ho is a food, culture, and travel writer. She is the host of the award-winning podcast Racist Sandwich, which focuses on the intersections of race, gender, and class within the food industry. Food? Okay. Earlier this year, Ho argued that the popularity of Popeye's chicken sandwich made Americans forget about more important issues, such as immigration crisis and the tragic lives of the factory-farmed chickens that are used to make the sandwiches. All right, okay, American food is racist, and so is proper grammar. And if there's anything that's not racist, I really can't find it here. If I do, I must have misplaced the story. So everything is racist, and it's all bad, and we're horrible. Now, do we have a call there, Brian?
Yes, we do. Meteorologist Rob Carolyn was with us.
Why, Mr. Carolyn.
Jonathan, I'm here with the non-racist forecast.
Oh, wow.
That's not racist.
Well, whatever you do, do not use proper grammar.
The sun shines on all of God's creatures.
That's right. Racist and non-racist. I don't know. What's your take on American food? Is that racist too?
No, I think American food's pretty good.
Yeah, I kind of like it myself. Okay, let's see here. I got a story coming up. Have you've ridden on the New York subway system, I'm sure?
Yes.
I have a couple of stories coming up here. I tell you, man, you're taking your life in your hands if you ride the New York subways. Wow.
You are ever since de Blasio became mayor.
Oh, man, there are some really crazy people down there. Wow, watch it if you're on the subway.
There are.
Okay, so how's the weather looking here?
Not so good, unfortunately. This final weekend here in October is not going to be that good. We've got a big storm developing down over the Gulf Coast and also in Texas. Lots of that moisture is going to head our way over the course of the next couple of days, and it's actually going to ruin the weekend. We've got clouds out there this morning. We may see a few showers later today as a cold front heads our way. We're going to be near 55. Sun came up this morning at 7:34. It sets tonight at 6:13. We'll have a few showers into the evening. Then we're cloudy overnight, 35 to 40. Now, for tomorrow, it looks relatively cloudy. Some more showers develop. They'll be coming in the afternoon, 55 to 60 for the high tomorrow. It's rainy and breezy tomorrow night. The rain may come down hard at times, 45 to 50. And then look for rain to end on Sunday. We're cloudy in the afternoon, 60 to 65. Our next chance at seeing a decent amount of sunshine would be Monday, Jonathan.
Well, I thought, as you were given the forecast, I thought, well, you're saying rain, right? You're not saying snow, right?
I'm not. Nope, and I'm not saying snow for at least another 5 or 6 days.
Well, okay, fine. We'll take it. That's fine. Because the main thing is you don't shovel rain, right?
This is true.
That's true.
Especially uphill.
That's right. Okay, Rob, thanks. We'll see you next week.
Have a good one.
Bye.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Ralph Irvin.
3 games Thursday night in the NBA, including the grand opening of the Chase Center in San Francisco, where the Clippers, well, they ruined the festivities with a 141-122 beatdown of the Golden State Warriors. Lou Williams led the way with 22 points off the bench. 7 Clippers scored in double figures. 7 Bucks scored in double figures as Milwaukee won at Houston 117-111. Giannis led the way. He had a triple-double, 30 points, 13 rebounds, 11 assists. Trae Young scored 38 points, and Atlanta was a 117-100 winner in their season opener at Detroit. Thursday night, Week 8 of the NFL season got underway with Minnesota hosting Washington, and it was a 19-9 victory for the Vikings. Kirk Cousins, 285 yards through the air. He was 23 of 26. Dalvin Cook had the game's only touchdown. And in the top 25, number 16 SMU, 34-31 winners at Houston.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Amazon's profit plunged 26% in the summer quarter. It cost the company more to speed up shipping. It's Amazon's first weaker profit since 2017, and it wasn't predicted. The quarter included its popular Prime Day sale. Amazon's spending is expected to rise again at the end of the year as it invests to provide one-day shipping to more Prime members. Chip maker Intel reported a stronger than expected quarter. Its business improved and it is raising its expectations for the year. Intel says it was helped by demand for chips used in data centers. Stocks closed mixed yesterday. The Dow Jones Industrial is down 28. The Nasdaq was up 66 and the S&P added 5. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head, just over $30,000. That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask like 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. Optima Tax Relief. They're the best in the business.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-410-6744. 800-410-6744.
Optima Tax Relief.
The Ryan Agencies, your local, independent insurance agencies. The Ryan Agency is not beholden to any one insurance company. They work with many companies, offering unbiased insurance advice. Their interest is seeking your best interest. Contact the Ryan Agencies. Good people offering unbiased advice, seeking your best interest.
Insurance protection you can rely on. The Ryan Agency.
Today at Simmons Rockwell Nissan in Horseheads and Hornell, New York, you'll find brand new 2019 Nissan Sentra SV models equipped with 16-inch alloy wheels, rear monitor, push-button ignition, and cruise control for just $15,999. Shop Simmons Rockwell Nissan in Horseheads or Hornell. Simmons-Rockwell.com.
Okay, and we are back. Now, as I was talking to Rob Carolyn there, I said I had a couple of stories about the New York subway. Wow. Boy, you're really taking a chance on the New York subways, I guess. There's this guy, they call him a serial subway saboteur. And this lady was standing on a platform waiting for a train. So the train pulls in, and this guy runs up behind her, yells, and pushes her face first into the train, right? So the lady suffers all kinds of injuries to her face, and she's really hurt, and she goes to a local hospital. Now, this guy, who is he? Where's his name? It doesn't make any difference. Anyway, this guy is best known for creating more than 700 subway delays this year by pulling the emergency brake. So you pull the emergency brake and the thing stops 700 times. So this guy faces a whole bunch of charges, and there you go. Then there was another one where a guy is standing on a platform when a train's coming, and he falls off the platform. He wasn't pushed; he just lost his balance and fell on the train tracks. And a bunch of people standing around said, "Uh-oh, that's no good." So they jump down on the tracks as a train is coming and get this guy to safety. Right? So there you have some really bad dumb guy. And then we have these people who save a person who falls on the tracks. I mean, it's always an adventure riding the New York subway system, I guess. And this one, I got to do it now because I don't want to, not do it here. This is just amazing. There's a 25-year-old man in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and he's running a 10-mile race. Now, this guy is in shape. Right? He was in the Army at one point or the Marines or something. He's in pretty good shape. So he's going to run this 10-mile race. And he puts on a bib, right? All these runners, these long-distance runners have these bibs on. There's a name and a number. And then he put another bib on. And this one said, "Jesus saves." Right? So he said, well, it really is a good message, and I want to make people feel good, so I'm going to put the other bib on. So he ties on another bib with "Jesus Saves" on it. And he says, boy, I woke up that morning, I felt really good, and after eating breakfast, I'm ready to run. Boy, yes, sir. So he has on his orange Wheaties T-shirt and his two bibs, one with his name and number on it, and the other with "Jesus Saves." So he's running along. He's a former college football player, and he was in the military. He has no history of heart trouble. He was running at 8-minute miles until the 8th mile. And suddenly, he goes, boom, he collapses. He had a cardiac arrest. So he cracks his head on the pavement, and he's in pretty bad shape. And the runner right behind him is a registered nurse anesthetist from Lakeville in Wisconsin there. It was Minnesota. That's right. Okay, it was Minnesota, right. So the runner right behind him saves his life. He performs chest compressions and helped his breathing until the ambulance arrived. And what was this runner's name who saved this guy's life? Jesus. So Jesus Bueno, J-E-S-U-S, Jesus Bueno, saves this guy's life. And the guy's life who he saves has a bib on with "Jesus Saves" on it. Wow. There's nothing, what more do you say about that? What more do you say? Cardiac arrest, a concussion, broken bones, but he says, hey, that's all right. I'm still alive and everything's fine. So there you go. Jesus did save. Okay, very good. And that's it for this morning's show. I will see you Monday at 8:05. Bye.